Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm creating a cute little shaker card using an MFT stamp set and a Heffy Doodle die. It's a nice, quick and easy one today, and I really like making shaker cards. So I'm using the MFT Mice Day to Celebrate stamp set, which was designed by Birdie Brown, I believe. The Heffy Doodle stitched Slimline trio dies as well. And so what I did, I went ahead and cut my dies out of some Lawn Fawn 110 pound cardstock, and I stamped out my sentiment which says happy birthday, and what else did it say? I can't remember. Happy birthday from me to you, that was it. So for my background, I've created a panel from some Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I've just kind of marked out where each section of my panel, my die cut panel, ends, so that I can ink blend some colour onto each of the three sections. So for that, I'm using some Spun Sugar, some dried Marigold, and some Twisted Citron. So those are the three colours that I've chosen to use. And what I'm doing is I'm just masking off each section as I go and just adding a touch of colour to the centre with my blending brush. So did Spun Sugar at the top, dried Marigold in the middle, and then Twisted Citron at the bottom. So just some nice kind of pale but happy colours. And you can see that I've already attached my acetate to my die cut panel as well. I just used some double-sided tape and attached that to the back. So it's all ready to go. And this is, as I say, this was a nice, quick and easy card, but it does pack a lot of punch, I think. It's interactive, which is always good in my books. So there we go, my panel is complete, and you can see how that's going to work. Everything's lined up nicely. So I stamped out my images, and I did go ahead and fussy cut them. I don't always do this first, but these guys are a little bit intricate, particularly their little tails. So I wanted to kind of cut them first to make sure that I did them properly before I'd spent much time colouring them. And now I'm going to go ahead and colour them with my Copic markers. So for the little mice, I'm using N4, N2 and N0. And I'm not going to show the colouring of all of the mice on camera because I've coloured them all exactly the same way. So I don't want to bore you with the same kind of colouring over and over again. Just as always, starting with my darkest marker, laying in some shadow, moving on to my medium to blend that out a little bit, and finishing off with my lightest marker. And I will go in with some R20 as well, just to add some colour to their little cheeks and to their ears, which you will see in a second here. So I'm adding the R20, as I say. I'm going to put a little cheek on them, and then I'm going to colour in their ear. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go back over with the W0 marker, just to kind of blend that pink out a little bit around the edges so it doesn't look quite so stark. And finally, for his little nose, I'm using N8. It's a tiny little area, but I wanted them to look nice and black. So I've done all three mice in exactly the same way. And now I'm going to go on to colouring their little accessories. So two of them are wearing a little bow tie, which I'm going to do in BG13 and BG11. And I'm also going to use that same colour for the little pom-pom on top of their party hats. So all of those are going to be exactly the same colours. So what I'm doing with the little pom-pom is just adding some of the darker coloured marker to the centre and then blending out towards the lightest around the edges. Finally, I'm going to colour their party hats in three different colours, which I wanted to match my Distress Oxide background. So for the green, I'm using YG23 and YG21, which is this nice yellowish green. For the orange, I'm using YR02 and YR00. Again, I love this orange combination. It's so pretty. So that's going to match with the dried Marigold. And then for my pink, I'm using RV13 and RV10, which is quite a soft pink and works quite nicely with the Spun Sugar. So once that was done, it was just a little candle left, and I'm going to do the stripes in alternating colours of those same pink orange and green that I've used previously. So I'm using the darker marker of each. So the RV13 for the pink, for the orange it's the YR02, and for the green it's going to be the YG23, just to bring all of those colours in there. And this was nice and quick, and they were really quick to colour out, but I really enjoyed colouring them as well. They're really, really sweet. So that's it with the Copics. As always, I'm going to go in with my white Sakura Jelly Roll pen and just add some white highlight details all over. Again, something that I like to do for my images, just to add a little bit of extra dimension and just a little something. And I really like to do this. And then once that's done, it's really just a case of assembling everything together. As I say, this card did not take long to come together at all, and it's a really nice one to kind of have on hand if you need it. So I've added some foam tape all around my my front panel, and now I'm just using my powder tool to go around the edges of that foam tape just to make sure that nothing's going to stick to them when I pop my sequins in. I'm also adding a little bit of powder to that blended background just to make sure everything moves around nicely when I put my sequins in. For the sequins, I've decided to use this Pawsome Stamps Sparkling Mint Sequin Mix. I kind of had a look at all different options, and I decided to go with this colour because it kind of matched the colour of the ink that I've used for the sentiment and for the little party hats and bow ties that I've got on my mice. So I decided that that was a good option, and it worked for all of them. So just removing the backing paper off my foam adhesive, I've popped my sequins down on top of my ink blended panel, and then I will bring my front to my back and just try and make sure that everything's lined up nicely, which I think I managed to do today. It isn't always the case, but I think I managed to do it quite well today. And there we go, that's the kind of shaker part of my card completed, and I'm just kind of moving them around, making sure they're all shaking nicely. And you can't help but play with them, can you? So once that's done, I'm just going to place my little mice down, figure out where they're going to go. So I'm going to kind of have them stacked to either side, and I'm going to match them up so the party hats match the distress colour ink that I've used in the background, and then it's just a case of gluing them down. I'm using some liquid adhesive just to make sure they're nice and stuck firmly, and I'm just using my finger to tap off any excess glue on those really fine parts like their little tails and the top of the candle, just to make sure that that doesn't kind of smudge and go all over my acetate, because it can get a little bit messy if that happens. So just want to make sure that it's, you know, not going to ooze out everywhere. And then I'm just using an acrylic block just to hold them down briefly while they kind of dry a little bit so that they don't peel up anywhere and don't kind of come up. But then that's pretty much it for the card front, the card panel, nice and easy. So I've taken a Slimline card base, I've stamped out one of the sentiments from that stamp set, which is really lovely, and one of the little images, and I've used that same ink. It's Concord and 9th Oceanside ink that I've used for the stamping today, and I thought it was really pretty. And I'm just using a white card panel, card base. I thought about using a coloured one, but I kind of thought the white on white look was quite nice. It's not something that I do very often, but I kind of like the look of it, and I thought it turned out really pretty. So just glued that down with some liquid glue, and that's it. The card is complete. I really enjoyed this one today. I hope you did too. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of it. And please do think about subscribing to my channel. I would love to see you come back again. Here is a link to another video that you may enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.